What's up, guys? So today's a book review, and we are reviewing my screenwriting book, Save the Cat. It says here, the last book on screenwriting you'll ever need, and I was actually introduced to it through, let me see if I can find it for you. This bad boy, which breaks down pretty much every film ever into 15 simple beats. You can look for it. I will leave a link in the description to literally just a Google search for this thing, and you can just save an image. It's pretty easy to do. I have an image of it on my phone, so if I'm out and about, I can sort of, because I have other friends that have written stories, but not necessarily written films, and when they're asking me about, what the difference is, I'm able to quickly just pull that out and be like, well, here, let's go through your story, see if it fits a film plot, and if it does kind of fit that way, then it's pretty easy to just directly translate. But we're going to go section by section, which, as you can see, have all been very nicely bookmarked. Some of them for longer than others, evidently. So yeah, we're going to go through, and I'm just going to sort of read the basic summaries. All of these ones do have exercises as well, but in order to keep this video as short as I can, I'm just going to be looking at the summaries. So the first section is called What Is It? And it says here, the what is it is the only place to begin this task of ours. The job of the screenwriter, especially one writing on spec, must include consideration for everyone along the way, from agent to producer to the studio exec who decide what gets made. And that job starts with the question, what is it? Excuse me. Along with a good what is it, a movie must have a clear sense of what it's about and who it's for. Its tone, potential, the dilemma of its characters, and the types of characters they are should be easy to understand and compelling. In order to better create a good what is it, the spec screenwriter must be able to tell a good one-line or log line, a one or two sentence grabber that tells us everything. It must satisfy 4 basic elements to be effective. Those elements being irony, it must be in some way ironic and emotionally involving, a dramatic situation that's like an itch you have to scratch, a compelling mental picture, it must bloom in your mind when you hear it, a whole movie must be implied, often including a time frame, audience and cost, it must demarcate the tone, the target audience, and the sense of cost so buyers will know if it can make a profit, and a killer title. The 1-2 punch of a good logline must include a great title, one that says what it is and does so in a clever way. For instance, the film that I'm currently working on, and the reason I've been reading this book this month, is because I've been very deep most of the month in my screenwriting phase, and the title of my film, because it's sort of like a Sixth Sense sort of vibe going on. It's a short film about a guy who can see ghosts, but he has, at least for most of the first 2 acts of the film, he has this heavily implied romantic relationship with one of the ghosts, a la Twilight, where she falls in love with the vampire. Yeah, I did that, but with ghosts. And so it's called Ghost Town, which is kind of cool. So he sort of helps the ghosts, fulfill their unfinished business and stuff. But he, the toughest one for him is the one that he's had a relationship, having this like implied romantic relationship with, and it's not only hard for him because he has feelings for this person, but because they have like afterlife amnesia effectively, and they can't remember what their unfinished business is. They just know that they have some, and so he has to go full detective mode to help her figure out what it is that's keeping her there, and then obviously during trying to help her, that's when they sort of develop feelings for each other, etc. All sorts of fun. Alright, the second part says, give me the same thing, only different. The summary here is a bit of a longer one, but it says, the topic of genre dictates the categorizing of movies, but instead of typical categories such as romantic comedy or heist movie, we've created 10 new ones that define story types. These categories are all you need for how to help you identify the story mechanics of the movie idea you're working on. You will not need to find exclusions to them. You are a screenwriter. As stated in chapter 1, all good screenwriters are bullheads. This book is a little bit humorous in its own way, which is why I love it. So I know what your response to the work and years of experience that just went into what I've just related to you is. What about the exceptions? What about Breakfast Club, huh? Is that rites of passage or institutionalized? What about Rain Man? Is it Golden Fleece or Buddy Love? Again, if you want to know what all of these things that I'm saying that probably don't make sense to you are, I will leave a link in the description and you can buy this book. I'll leave probably an Amazon link. You can just click on that and go buy the book yourself. Read it for yourself. It's a fun time, I promise. Even if you're not writing a script, it's still fun to find out the kind of work that goes into writing your favourite film, being able to analyse them and stuff. Cool. If you're looking for the exceptions to the rules, you're missing the point of the chapter, which is to use categorizing as a storytelling tool. You must know movies, but you can't know them all, so this is a way to start. Take the script you're working on and try to find what category it's most like. Maybe you have moments in your script that borrow from all the categories. Maybe you start off your screenplay telling one type of story and end up telling another. That's fine too. At the end of the day, I doubt you'll sell that script, but we have to learn the hard way. We're screenwriters. Pain is the game. The point is to be well versed in the language, rhythm, and goals of the genre you're trying to move forward. If you know what genre you're in, learn its rules and find what's essential. You'll write a better and more satisfying movie and have a better chance to sell it. What's so great about these genres is how inspiring they are, at least to me. Seeing these genres laid out and seeing their heritage, often going back to the very ancient and familiar tales, tells me that the job of give me the same thing only different is not new. Jaws is just a retelling of the ancient Greek myth of the Minotaur or even the dragon slayer tales of Middle Ages. Superman is just a modern Hercules. Road Trip is just an update of the Canterbury Tales. To not know the roots of the story you're trying to create, either from the last 100 years of movie storytelling or the last 1,000, is to not honour the traditions and fundamental goals of your job. Give me the same thing, only different, then, is what storytelling has always been about. But it's the way we put new twists on old tales, bring them up to date, and give them a spin that's meaningful for our contemporaries. It's a skill we must master and apply to all aspects of the craft. And in the next chapter, we'll discuss how to take all the wonderful background and draw out the most important part, the hero. Which is exactly what the next chapter's about. It's called It's About a Guy Who. So basically this chapter starts off by saying when you're talking to people about it and they ask, oh, what is it? You can tell them what it is. You can tell them that it's like a certain film, only different, and then you can get into telling them that it's about a guy who. So its summary reads, Finding the hero of your story is the second most important part of coming up with a winning movie concept. Winning meaning one that will sell. Cast and concept is, in fact, the starting point of getting any movie made. What's it about and who's in it are the first two questions any moviegoer asks, and that goes for everyone else as well, from agent to producer to studio exec. It's how the who and the what is it come together in an intriguing combination that makes us want to see this story unfold. The perfect hero is one who offers the most conflict in the situation, has the longest emotional journey, and has a primal goal we can all root for. Survival, hunger, sex, protection of loved ones, the fear of death grab us. It's usually someone we can identify with primarily too, and that's why mothers and daughters, fathers and sons, brothers and sisters, husbands and wives make better characters than mere strangers facing the same situations and storylines. When committing these discoveries to your logline, you must have an adjective to describe the hero, an adjective to describe the bad guy, and a definite or primal goal or setting. The fourth one is called Let's Beat It Out, and it's the one that has that beat sheet that I showed you. It does not have a summary, so I will simply just read to you the 15 beats. In order, they are opening image, theme stated, the setup, the catalyst, the debate, the break into two, the B story, fun and games, midpoint, bad guys close in, all is lost, dark night of the soul, break into three, finale, and final image. We've then got building the perfect beast, which I'm pretty sure is all about our bad guy, if I'm not mistaken. So now you know everything about your movie that you need to start writing a screenplay. If you have held off long enough on your movie idea to do the steps I've suggested, you're ready to write fade in and begin. Are you excited? You should be, but let's make sure you're set by going over the get ready for your deep sea dive checklist. Number 1. Have you come up with a great idea? And I mean it's killer. You have a killer title, a killer logline, and you've tested it on friends and strangers, and every one of them can't wait to see your movie. Number 2. Have you done your homework on genre? You've figured out what your movie is most like and screened every relevant Hollywood film in the past 20 years. You know what the filmmakers did right, what they did wrong, and more importantly, how your movie will be a step forward and be the same thing, only different, and you're convinced you've got something new. Number 3, you figured out the perfect hero to take this journey. This is the character that offers the most conflict in that situation, has the longest way to go emotionally, and is the most demographically pleasing. And you've given your hero a primal goal and a real bad guy who wants to stop him from achieving it. Finally, you have beat out your movie using the beat sheet, and have put up those great scenes too. The board, and I've put up all those great ideas on the board, meaning like your storyboard. Tried many ideas, themes, and storylines, and have whittled it all the way down to 40 actual scenes, with each scene indicating its emotional change from beginning to end, and the conflicts, and what the conflict is in each. Man, are you ready? What's stopping you? While you go off and start writing your screenplay, we'll be waiting for you and rooting you on. We'll be the guy on up on the dock that feeds the oxygen tube down to you, the deep sea diver, as you descend to the depths of your subconscious mind. Make sure that in your life you too have a similar support from friends and loved ones, because as you drop into the depths of your story, trying to capture the thoughts and the feelings you need to accomplish your mission, you have to trust that those up in the real world are supporting you and watching your back. It's weird down there. You'll see all manner of wondrous and strange things, be amazed by what you're capable of handling, and surprised by how great an experience it can be. But it's also dangerous. Doubt and anxiety will plague you, and like the bends, it will cause you to see fearful things that aren't even there. In order to get through to the end, you've got to have someone back on land that you trust, that's supporting and nurturing your effort. Whether you have that situation in your life or not, we'll be up on the dock waiting for you and wishing you well. We who write screenplays want to see you win and win big time, and we know exactly what you're going through down there and want you not to worry. So as you descend into the murk, as ready as you'll ever be, we wish you good hunting. And while we wait for you to come up, we'll kill a little time and talk about some fun things in screenwriting. Alright, there's, I think, only 2 more to go. I have summaries. I think the last one's just sort of a recap of the whole book, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, second to last one is the immutable laws of screenplay physics. And being completely honest here, I've not made it this far, so I'm going to learn some stuff reading this out. Alright. So now you know some basics, and if you're like me, you want to know more and make up others as you go on. These are little eurekas that one experiences after watching a truckload of movies over the years. Suddenly you realise why things are done, what that scene really was for, and it makes you feel like a genius. Suddenly you're in on the tricks of screenwriting and have the experience of actually opening up the back of the Swiss watch and seeing how the gears are put together. So that's how it works, you suddenly think. You feel like you're learning the magician's secrets. Once you see all these little tricks, the urge to put a label on them can't be far behind. This is why Save the Cat, The Pope in the Pool, Black Vet, and Keep the Press Out are memorable and vital to be so. Yes, it's good, slangy fun, but it's also a way not to forget what you've learned. And when you catch yourself drifting into a mistake or pushing up against a rule you'd like to break, these pithy little lessons give you an instant assessment on the pros and cons of minding or breaking the law. How many times have I caught myself drifting into one or more of these errors during the course of creating and writing a screenplay? Well, many. But the point is, point of all of this is to learn shortcuts to save time. Screenwriting is like solving a puzzle over and over. You get faster with practice. The more stories you break, the more outlines you beat out to their completion, the more screenplays you tag with the end, the better you get. These shortcuts are essential time savers. And then the last one, which I definitely have not read, is in the chapter, What's Wrong with This Picture? And it goes, so now you've seen how you can double check your work using simple rules of the road. If your script feels flat, or if you get back comments from readers who can't quite put their finger on it but know something's wrong, here are 7 easy thought starters to help you find the weak spot and fix it. Ask yourself these questions, the is it broken test. Does my hero lead the action? Is he proactive at every stage of the game and fired up by a desire or a goal? Do my characters talk the plot? Am I saying things a novelist would say through the characters instead of letting it be seen in the action of my screenplay? Is the bad guy bad enough? Does he offer my hero the right kind of challenge? Do they both belong in this movie? Does my plot move faster and grow more intense after the midpoint? Is more revealed about the hero and the bad guy as we come into the Act 3 finale? Is my script one note emotionally? Is it all drama, all comedy, all sadness, all frustration? Does it feel like it needs but does not offer emotional breaks? Is my dialogue flat? After doing the bad dialogue test, does it seem like everyone talks the same? Can I tell one character from another just by how he or she speaks? Do my minor characters stand out from each other, and are they easy to differentiate by how they look in the mind's eye? Is each unique in speech, look, and manner? Does the hero's journey start as far back as it can go? Am I seeing the entire length of the emotional growth of the hero in this story? And is it primal? Are my characters at their core... Excuse me. Is it primal? Are my characters at their core reaching out for a primal desire to be loved, to survive, to protect family, to exact revenge? If you're having any nagging doubts about any of the above, you know what to do. You have the tools to go back and fix it, but will you? That's the rub. Here's a tip. When in doubt, do it. Odds are that if you or your initial batch of readers have found problems with your screenplay, everyone else will too. Don't be lazy. Don't say, oh well, no one will notice, because they will. It's better to be brilliant now and and have the guts to fix your mistakes before your script's sitting on Steven Spielberg's desk. You only get the one shot at a first impression. Try to get over the love affair you have with yourself and your work. God knows I've been in love with my own 1,000 times, and do what needs to be done. This is what separates the pros from the wannabes. That nagging voice that says it sucks, and the mature adult professional voice that quickly chimes in, and I know how to fix it. Cool. So yeah, aside from not getting all the way through this book, I have been moving through this stage by stage because my script's only a short film. It's only, I think I've got 7 scenes in total. So it's a nice little short film. It's probably only going to go for about 20 minutes to a half hour sort of thing. And so being able to go through this chapter at a time with what I've got, and slowly but surely figure it all out has been really helpful. There is a second one of these that I do also have, but we'll see how we go. This one is sort of the, as it says at the top, again, the last book on screenwriting you'll ever need, and he still wrote a second one, so evidently not, but it does break down the really big issues, and if you're interested in writing any sort of script, I would recommend it. I even use it when I'm writing, like I'll use particularly that beat sheet as just a template for any story that I'm writing. That way, if I decide to go with a film, it's already in the right format, and if not, if it's going to end up being a novel, I know that I've got this overarching story, and I can just add a couple extra little loops around for complications and stuff, so that at the end I can have a much bigger payoff. So it is a book that I would recommend you have if you're interested in pretty much any form of storytelling. But yeah, that's all I've got for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me, and the notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload new ones. And until next time, guys, keep your head screwed on.